and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Uh-oh. Are you busting me drinking my Smoothie King from Jay's Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner? Jay and his dad have another Smoothie King airline at Labar by Causeway by the Rouses too, the old Metairie location. But first, here's Drew Brees. He's right, it is indeed New Orleans. Thank you, number 9. That's right, Smoothie King. That vanilla gladiator with the 45 grams of protein. It's hard to eat something that's got a lot of protein, not like meat or chicken. I mean something that's protein specific like the gladiator. I had this little protein bar. You know when you're like not feeling well and you can just chew and chew and chew and you can't swallow? You're chewing like 50 times instead of like 5 times, and it's hard to swallow because your stomach's, upset or you're not feeling well. That's what this protein bar was like. It was like I was eating tar. I ended up spitting out the bite that I never swallowed and threw the protein bar in the garbage can. The Gladiator Vanilla from Smoothie King, 45 grams, jam-packed with protein. And tasty, too. I get it with unsweetened strawberries, banana. Those are the main ingredients. Then some of this Gladiator protein powder, maybe a little creatine. They call it muscle builder. And they put some ice in there and they blend it up like a champ. All Smoothie Kings are not the same. They're all franchisees, different hours. Jay and his dad have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. Yummy. And Smoothie King on Airline at Labar. The old Metairie Smoothie King by Causeway and Airline by the Rouses. There is a difference. 100 days, New Orleans. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. Last week it was Taylor Swift, the Swifties in town. $200 million plus of direct spending and another $300 million plus of indirect, a total of north of $500 million for 3 nights of Taylor Swift. 65,000 folks each night at the Caesars Superdome. And that's like almost 200,000 fans. And about 150,000 came in from outside of New Orleans, outside of Louisiana, and not just regionally. Normally you'll have a big concert and it's a regional draw because there might have been a show in Houston or Dallas, or Atlanta, or Nashville, or wherever. Not this. Folks that love Taylor Swift looked at the schedule, and they're not going to go to the Denver show if they're from Florida. They're not going to the Phoenix show if they're from New York. But folks from not only around the region, not only around the rest of the country, but literally around the world that are Taylor Swift fans, looked at that schedule, maybe 40 dates, saw New Orleans on the calendar, and they're like, man, let's knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. I mean, you go to Phoenix, what are we going to do? Go to the spa? You go to Denver, you might do some hiking. If it's cold, you might go skiing. I'm not knocking these other places, but they're not major tourist destinations or draws. And New Orleans is. New Orleans is an entertainment capital. You're going to get great food, great restaurants. I went down to the panhandle of Florida a few weeks ago with my brother to play some golf and just relax, go to the beach, brought my dog Tolly with me. I mean, at best, a mediocre restaurant, and most are terrible. Most aren't very good at all. You're not going down to the panhandle of Florida to go out to dinner every night and enjoy a great meal. It just does not exist. Does not exist. New Orleans, you could stay a month and go somewhere different for lunch and dinner every day for a month and get a great meal. And then you throw in, folks that like to drink, great bar rooms, all different types, folks that love music. I mean, it's almost like who doesn't love music? Everybody has at least a liking of music. Some of the best music venues anywhere, from little places like the Maple Leaf on Oak Street to Mahalia Jackson Theater or the Smoothie King Center or the Caesars Superdome and a bunch of other places. So just a great place to visit. The compactness of New Orleans, 28,000, nearly 30,000 hotel rooms, nearly 30,000 within a mile of the French Quarter, a mile of the Superdome, a mile of the Convention Center, a mile of the Mississippi River. It's just tough to beat. Compact, walkable city. And then you want to explore outside of that area, great neighborhoods, true neighborhoods, not generic cul-de-sac, new build neighborhoods anywhere USA. We got those too. And I'm not knocking those. I love English Turn, great neighborhood. Out in Metairie, you've got some nice neighborhoods. Out in Kenner, you've got some nice neighborhoods. But New Orleans has, Mid-City, Bywater, Marigny, Uptown. It's endless. So just a great city where these Swifties are like, boy, I can knock out two birds with one stone. Norman Brayman, the old Philadelphia Eagles owner from like 50 years ago. The Super Bowl should be held in New Orleans every year. I've gone to other cities, other Super Bowls. You have to get in a car. You have to get in traffic. You have to drive around from one venue to the other. Not New Orleans. You can choose to get in a car and drive if you'd like, and it's very easy to drive around New Orleans. But such a great, compact, walkable city. CBD, Warehouse District, French Quarter, Superdome, Convention Center, all walkable. The Dome to the Convention Center would be like your worst walk. And what is that, about a mile? 12, 15 blocks tops? Tough to beat New Orleans and the Crescent City for big-time events. And we're on a friggin' roll now. The rocket has launched. Taylor Swift got it going. Halloween is a big weekend last weekend with Taylor Swift. Halloween last night. But, the weekend before is the big Halloween weekend. About 1 out of 3 people dressed in a Halloween outfit. And then we're going to fade into the Christmas holidays and New Year. You've got Bayou Classic coming up. You've got the Sugar Bowl, which this year is a college football playoff semifinal game. I had Walt Leger on earlier this week. The automotive convention, the first couple of weeks in January, brings in not 25,000 people, 25,000 dealerships. They're each bringing in a handful of people. So that could be 50, 75, 100,000 folks spending hundreds of millions of dollars. They come about every 4 years or so to New Orleans because they can't stay away. They like changing it up. I guess they go to Orlando or Vegas or whatever. But they're back this year. Then you've got Super Bowl 59, 100 days from today. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. It gets bigger and better each year. They're expecting an economic impact of north of $750, $800 million. Could be close to $1 billion. The countdown has begun. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. Michael Hecht will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour to discuss. This hour, Fletcher Mackel, 5 minutes away. Fridays with Fletch. Scot Craig from Katie's and Francesca. chef, owner, operator of those two places. He's going to join us in about 20 minutes on the program on this Fantasy Friday. Hey, speaking of the countdown, 4 days till presidential election 2024. Thank God, huh? Thank God. Get this caustic, ugly, un-American presidential election over with. And I doubt it ends on Tuesday. And it'll be months and months. The losers will still be saying it was fixed. But that's this Tuesday, thank God. Get out and vote. Hey, best quality, best price, best selection. You know what I'm talking about. Your Rouse's Market. They do over 1 million customers a week. You heard me right. Over 1 million customers a week. North of 50 million a year. There are over 65 Rouses, and they continue to grow. They've got everything you need. Local, regional, national, even international products. Your Rouse's Market. Uh-oh, frog in the throat. Tastes like home. Rouse's Market. Stick around. Fridays with Fletch next.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. All of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at NOLA.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at La Barre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Some people say, oh no. I say, oh yeah. Fletcher Mackle's with us again from WDSU Channel 6 Sports. What up, Fletch? Fletch, you there? Fletcher? Fletch, you there? Uh-oh. I think we lost you. You there, Fletch?
No, I got you. I'm here. Sorry.
What happened to you, man? What are you doing?
I walked outside.
Wow.
Got the Wi-Fi. I got too far away from my house.
Well, why don't you have screw ups on Channel 6 Live when you're doing live drops on 6? Why only on this program?
This is where the mishaps happen, so they don't happen at my real job. So I do apologize. I was down the street, and I'm sure everybody that's listening right now can kind of relate to this. You leave your house and you get too far away from the Wi-Fi, and it starts to kind of break up. And I was like, so I had to come hustling back towards my house to get back. I guess I could have just turned the Wi-Fi off, but I didn't even. I just came back.
Hey, let's call Margaret Orr. What was that wet stuff that fell out of the sky?
I know. Let me tell you right now. I'm actually standing in front of my house, and my all my plants and shrubs and everything are like the most thankful, vegetation in the city right now, because I try to do a good job of watering my plants and stuff, but sometimes I become a lazy plant owner. And so yes, so I think the yesterday and today it's been a good day for all my greens.
Yeah, I got to go drop like $100. I have like 10 azaleas down the side of my house, and 5 of them are just dead because I got lazy and did not water them. Now I got to go, probably $20 a plant. I got to go drop like $100. And
you know what the crazy thing is too, is the weather's been so good and so nice that you kind of lull your sense into the, everything's great, everything's awesome. Let's get outside. Let's do this. Let's do that. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, my plants need a little water too.
No, it's drought-like conditions. It didn't have rain for like 27 days. I was saying on the air a few days ago, if it were July or August, you'd know, because it'd just be just hot as hell. But yeah, the blue skies and the 60s and 70s fool you into thinking it's fine, but your plants are like, hey, bro, I'm thirsty already.
Right. So,
hey, Fletch, I don't believe in jinxes and the Superdomes on a cemetery, and I don't want to think, and maybe I'm wrong, and you can correct me, I don't think the Saints and Pelicans have a bad training staff or bad medical folks or any of that. But my God, the Saints injury bug this year, as bad as it's ever been. And now the Pelicans are getting bit by the same damn bug.
It's crazy. I mean, look, injuries are part of pro sports. Every team deals with it. It's not like the Saints are the only team or the Pelicans are the only team that deal with it. I mean, look, not to get too far off base here, but the guy who was pitching the final out of the World Series, Walker Buehler, is a guy who missed 95% of the season for the Dodgers. Yeah, he's back in the postseason, and he's pitching great. Injuries happen in sports, but you're 100% right. I'd be hard pressed to go back and see a time and figure out a time when both of these teams had been so decimated by injury. And I'm not making excuses. The Saints should be better than 2-6. The Pelicans should be better than 2-3. But make no mistake, the injuries that they're dealing with right now are affecting them and will continue to affect them, especially the Pelicans, because it's going to be several weeks before they get these guys back.
Plus, I mean, if it's, Saints or Pelicans and it's spread out between positions, you can kind of limp through that maybe. I mean, 2 wide receivers, 3 of 5 offensive linemen. You're starting quarterback with the Saints. It's brutal. What is it? The entire starting backcourt of the Pels now are out?
Yeah, I mean, look, DeJounte Murray, C.J. McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, all out for the next few weeks. Broken hand, shoulder, hamstring issue, adductor injury. So those are 4 key players. Now, look, the good news for the Pelicans, they still have their 2 quote-unquote stars, Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. So this is when they need their stars to be stars and put the team on their back, because they may be starting Jose Alvarado or Javonte Green, who's a journeyman they signed this year, or Jordan Hawkins. And even if those guys don't start, they're going to be getting some massive runs, way more minutes than they would ever get normally. So, yeah, the Pelicans are really, really decimated because it's a bunch of key guys. The Saints were really decimated, obviously losing your quarterback, your starting center. They have since started to get healthy. Last week we saw Taysom come back and Ruiz come back and Pete Werner come back. Carr's coming back this week. This weekend, they, being Dennis Allen, said that McCoy is progressing nicely. So the Saints seem to have turned the corner after the injury bug, and the Pelicans are just getting bitten hard by it.
And records are very similar. Both teams start out 2-0. Everyone's happy. Saints have lost, 6 in a row now? And the Pels have lost, 3 in a row?
Yep, Saints have lost 6 in a row. Pels have lost 3 in a row. And the Pels have, look, basketball is different. Nobody goes 82-0.
No.
But over the next few weeks, they've got the Mavericks, the Lakers, Orlando, although Orlando just lost their best player to injury, Paolo Banchero, Oklahoma City Thunder. They've got some serious matchups coming up. Cleveland, that's an undefeated team that won around in the playoffs last year. So the Pelicans are gonna have some tough games coming up on that schedule. The Saints, at least this week, are getting the worst team in the NFL. So hopefully they will break the snide, so to say, this weekend.
Okay, supposedly LSU controls their own destiny. They win out. They might play A&M again in the SEC title game or something like that. But did I go overboard on social media during the LSU game saying the season, as far as playoffs and having a great year, it's over with because every team now is just going to follow the blueprint of Texas A&M and run the ball down LSU's throat?
I would say, to say this early, I don't like to bet against Brian Kelly because he's proven a lot of people wrong. So I could see LSU winning out. I could also see LSU losing a few more games. And I think you're right. I said this on your show on my newscast. Nichols kind of gave everybody the blueprint. I mean, when Nichols pounded it down LSU's throat, running the ball, and then A&M did something similar, yeah, I think that's the blueprint. I think that's how teams are going to attack them and potentially beat them. I see a world where Florida's not going to be a gimme. Vandy's not a gimme. Oklahoma's not a gimme, even though they don't look like they belong in the SEC right now. And certainly Bama is a juggernaut game. The one thing I would say is I think that the Bama game is a playoff elimination game because in the newly expanded playoffs, I think there's going to be multiple 10-2 SEC teams getting in. No doubt about it, because they deserve to be in. I don't think you're going to see a 9-3 SEC team get in.
Right.
So LSU and Bama both have 2 losses. To me, the winner of this game keeps their hopes alive for either an SEC championship game appearance based on some things falling their way, or at least an at-large playoff berth. The loser of this game, the path to the playoffs is basically a dead end.
Former Tiger Booger McFarland does a great job for ESPN. He said at halftime, I'm A&M, run the football, and that's before they changed quarterbacks. I was watching the first half, and when A&M was throwing the ball, I was giddy about it. I'm like, y'all are gashing LSU running the ball, and you're still throwing it? And then they went to that kind of more mobile quarterback, and he destroyed LSU. 3 straight scores, and the game went from LSU leading by 10 to LSU down by 11 in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and look, that's been one of the things all season long is LSU running, especially in some of these SEC games, LSU running the ball versus the amount of yardage they give up in the ground game, it's jaw-dropping. And so I would agree. And again, look, I understand you have an elite player like Nussmeier who can make all the throws.
Yep.
And then you get down and you don't run the ball when you're down. And LSU hasn't been up where it's kind of like, hey, we're going to ground and pound teams into submission, so to say. I don't disagree with him. I think he's right. And I'm curious to see, like I said, I could talk myself into LSU finishing strong and doing something really special. I could also talk myself into Bama beating them and them faltering one more against either Florida, Vandy, or Oklahoma.
No, I could see him losing 3. I could see him losing to Vanderbilt. The thing that blows me away, how the defensive line is not as good as the offensive line. I mean, you got a transfer from Wisconsin starting, another transfer starting. The fact that Brian Kelly hasn't recruited like 6 or 8 great defensive linemen is I think his biggest problem in year 3.
Yeah, and look, I don't disagree with you. And at a certain point, and I get it, look, college football is not the NFL, but I still think at a certain point, and I know Brian Kelly has to rebuild the program and all that good stuff, but at a certain point, it needs to be you're paid as one of the top 5 coaches, $10 million or whatever it is.
Yeah, north of 10.
There needs to be stuff. And look, I know there's a lot of, like, I hate to use this term, like everybody was chasing Saban and giving these coaches these big crazy contracts, and it was insane. But at a certain point, you're patient until you're not patient.
Yeah.
And I think everybody knows. So, again, I thought this was really going to be a year that LSU could make a run at the playoffs, and I still think they could. But if they don't, I'm curious as to what kind of pressure, he's under. But here's the thing, like firing some of these coaches and getting rid of them is not the easiest thing.
No, you're right. You're right.
They've guaranteed themselves job security for a decade.
Yep. Fletch, always a pleasure. Next week, let's key on the green wave. They're rolling right now.
They are. They deserve our attention more than anybody else.
You're right. Next week, a lot of Tulane talk. Fletch, thank you. That's Fletcher Mackle.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TV including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. Yeah, you right. Scot Craig is with us, owner, operator of Katie's, Francesca, native New Orleanian, loves the city. How you doing, Scott?
I'm great, Corey. How are you?
Doing well, man. Did the Swifties invade Katie's last week?
Oh, the Swifties were awesome, man. We did a Swiftie brunch, which was a kick. I really didn't understand the magnitude of what was going on until like Monday before.
You and me both.
And a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, Scott, do you know anybody, that does a Swiftie brunch? Because I've called around a bunch of places and they're sold out." And I went, "What's a Swiftie brunch?"
What is a Swiftie brunch?
And she told me, and I said, "Let me get back to you." So I went into action. I called my social media person, Caroline Perrone, Caroline Rosa Marketing. She is absolutely incredible. And within a day, we had the bracelets ordered. Everything was in line. We did specials and named them all after her songs.
Wow.
And just it was just a blast. So Coach Mark Boney's at Brother Martin and his family were in the deli last Friday night.
What's Brother Martin? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, whatever. So they were in the deli last Friday night, and my bracelets weren't coming in time from Amazon. So his wife sprung into action, and she and her daughter made 100 bracelets for me before Sunday.
Wow.
They make these. They have a little business, and they make them.
Wow.
And named after all of Taylor Swift's albums.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. And
she has 11 albums, I believe. In that, I know some Swiftie info now. I didn't know a damn thing before. I'm pro Swiftie. I'm pro Taylor Swift. Couldn't name an album or a song, but what she did for our city, love her.
Well, I was telling Stephanie, my wife, that I used to whine and complain after this. Every time you watch a Kansas City Chiefs game, you got to see Taylor Swift.
Yeah, 20 times a game. Yep.
And I was one of those. Now I look forward to watching Chief games so I can see Taylor Swift.
Yep. No.
What you just did for our city was super bullish.
Literally.
The economic impact was super bullish, and the crowd was unbelievable. We literally had no complaints all weekend long.
No, it was incredible. That I had Walt Leger on from New Orleans and Company, like at least a $200 million direct economic impact, and indirect, they're saying north of $500 million. I mean, it's right. Old school Super Bowl-ish. It's old school Mardi Gras. It's, as big as French Quarter Fest type of economic impact. Just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, and we needed it.
Yep. No. Made Halloween a super Halloween. Every hotel room to capacity, 100% occupancy. Every restaurant. What's that?
The city nailed it.
Yep.
The city just nailed it. Steph and I went to dinner Sunday night because we're closed on Sunday nights, and I was ready for a break. And we went to dinner at the Chop House, and we were driving home on Poitras. And, of course, you couldn't park on Poitras. All of that was kind of closed off.
Yep.
But it was lined with police cars with their lights on. And it was just like this amazing scene of something special happening in the city. And I was really impressed with the way our city handled it. So, coupled
with Poitras, you can roll a marble down that street now.
Oh, that's another thing. But, and Stephanie gets kind of irritated. Is it like, why does it take a Super Bowl to get this done?
No, it's true. It's true. But at least it's getting done. At least it's getting done.
It looks good.
And hopefully it's sustainable. That's one thing that we don't do well. We'll redo something, and then it requires maintenance or upkeep, and there's no funding for that, and it goes to crap. So hopefully this stuff is not only redone, but maintained and, kept up. Hey, Chop House on Magazine downtown in between Poitras and Canal Street. A couple of things. Really good steakhouse. I'd say one of the top 3 or 4 in the city. I went to Doris Metropolitan last week for Friday lunch. That's the only day they're open. They have great steaks as well as Doris on Charters about a block from the quarter. But the Bon Ton is finally coming back in some form or fashion, from what I understand. What, Bon Ton Prime Rib or something like that? The owners of the Chop House own the Bon Ton.
Absolutely. And my good friend, Jacob Lewis, was the general manager of Chop House for years. And he was opening the Bon Ton when they had their fire.
Oh, the fire, yeah.
They had hired another general manager to take his place at Chop House, so they sent him to South Carolina to open up another restaurant.
Yeah, they're a restaurant group. They own about a dozen restaurants, I believe.
And they're really good at it.
I hope they bring back the crab bisque at Bon Ton, because that was some of the best in the city. Hard to find crab bisque. Manditch used to have it on St. Claude a couple of decades ago. And, I can't think of too many places that have crab bisque.
I can't either. I've heard of sheep crab soup and stuff like that, but it's not crab bisque, and you just gave me an idea.
And also, Scott, the way it's not a true bisque, like it's not just pureed liquid. There's, shreds of crab meat in the liquid. I think that's how you have to do it. Even though it's called a bisque, I guess as a chef, it's technically not, because it's not all liquid,
Oh, it's like crawfish bisque it's got the stuffed heads in it.
Yep.
Which makes it really difficult to execute.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Man, I'll tell you something that you may know or not know. Speaking of steaks, they've got. I'm not a big filet guy. You know, I get a ribeye or a strip. I'll do a skirt steak, hanger, any of that. Go to La Boca, Adolfo Garcia with I get anything but the mainstream steaks. I get a flank, a hanger, skirt, something like that, and they're off the charts good over there. This is kind of funny because it's like, it's sort of a chainish place, but Houston's on St. Charles Avenue brings in Allen Brothers steaks from Chicago, the purveyor Allen Brothers. And they have a prime filet, and it's a little pricey. As my mom would say, you have to float a bond to pay for this. Right. Houston's is expensive. It's not cheap. I'll go to Houston's like, damn, I could have gone to Commander's, Could have gone to any restaurant in the city, Bayonne, Irene's, Clancy's, whatever, Le Petit Grocery, any high-end place. Houston's is expensive as hell, but they've always had this prime Allen Brothers filet, and a lot of folks will say choice or prime filet. It doesn't matter. It's about tenderness. I disagree unless you're putting some gourmet chef-driven sauce over it. I think a prime filet marbled has a lot more flavor than a non-prime filet. So Houston's has always had this incredible Allen Brothers prime filet, and maybe a couple of times a year they bring in as a special the prime Allen Brothers New York strip. I think now the strip is on the menu permanently. It's like 14, 15, 16 ounces. It's like a brick. It's a giant New York strip. It's Allen Brothers prime. And I'm telling you, I know it sounds silly, I would put the Houston's on St. Charles Avenue filet and now their New York strip up against any filet or New York strip in the city. It's that damn good.
Well, I'm going to try that. I haven't been to Houston's in a while. We don't go out that much as it is. And when I do go out to eat steak, I'll either go to, Crescent City or Steak Knife.
Yep.
Or,
Chop House.
Crescent City for lunch.
Yep.
Steak Knife, but he's closed on Sunday nights, so we'll go to the Chop House.
Yep.
Because I really like what the Steak Knife's doing. They've got good food.
No, they do. Bobby and Guy Roth, they've been at it for 50 years?
Yeah, but Bobby's actually in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
he's
no.
The chef.
Yep.
He's in the kitchen every night, and they do a great job.
That creamy Italian salad dressing's about as good as it gets.
Yep.
I literally get those little toasty things they have, and I get them to bring out the creamy Italian, and I dip that toasty things in that salad dressing. It's outstanding.
What do they call those? It's got cheese melted on it.
No, those are just like the ones I'm talking. They've got that too. That's when the one that's like that is an appetizer. I get the ones that are just like on the side. They're just little cut up toasty things that they butter. Probably some Leidenheimer French bread or Gendusa, and they slice it up and toast it and put the butter on it. But dipping it in that Italian dressing is just like incredible. No, Steak Knife does a really solid job over there, and it's in a great little neighborhood on Harrison and Lakeview. They got a few little restaurants on that strip. Junior's isn't bad. My sister and brother-in-law live in that neighborhood. They hit all those places. Velvet Cactus, all that. Hey, Scott, hang on. We're coming right back, all right?
Crowd, come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
I was over at Young's Dry Cleaning's headquarters, Franklin and Fillmore, talking with Dale this morning. Young's Dry Cleaning for 84 years, a New Orleans institution. Walk-up locations, free pickup and delivery. Manless locker locations known as Young's Express. Find out more about the best. youngsdrycleaning.com. Scot Craig's with us from Katie's and Francesca.
It took Stephanie years of listening to me to use Young's Dry Cleaning, and she finally is now. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, they're great. That is a good thing. Hey, Scott, instead of talking about other restaurants in the city, let's talk about Katie's in Mid-City. What you got on the menu? I was talking about Katie's doing a live commercial a few weeks ago, and I was like, Scot Craig was with me a couple of months ago. And I just love, like, I got a dozen pompano. I got 15 soft shell crabs. I got 10 speckled trout fillets. I mean, no places have pompano and speckled trout and soft shell crab like you do, like just the specialty New Orleans seafood items that every now and then you pull out of your sleeve like a rabbit out of the hat. It's just amazing, man.
I've got to see if we have, especially with the giant menu we have, I've got to see if we have soft shell crabs left. Because we had some beautiful soft shell crabs that I got Sunday, and he was supposed to bring more.
I love the soft shell crabs when they're in the little, like, the cardboard box that I guess was used for, like, soft drinks. It's like the razor cut soft. It's about a 1-inch high little cardboard box, and it's got 15 soft shell crabs, and they're still moving. It's like, that's quality.
That's what we get. And I get them from Whaley's soft shell crabs. And he's unbelievable. He comes in with a box, and they're still live and kicking.
That's great.
And Sunday he brought me 2 dozen, and he was supposed to bring me 2 more dozen. But
wow.
I got to see if they came in. I'll know in a minute.
That's just.
So we're doing an alligator soup this weekend. That I'm excited about it. I gave Joey the recipe, and instead of doing turtle, I wanted to do alligator soup because we actually did turtle soup a few weeks ago, and it didn't move.
With real turtle meat?
With real turtle meat.
Wow.
And it didn't move, and we ended up having to get rid of it. I mean, that's mind-numbing to me. But so we're going to do alligator because I think that especially visitors come in and they hear alligator and go, oh, yum, we're going to try alligator. So it is a recipe that we're trying that a dear friend of mine from a legendary New Orleans restaurant gave to me. We are also doing shepherd's pie. We're doing that because it actually moves. And people love our shepherd's pie.
What's the shepherd's pie all about?
Joey likes doing it. It was a great lunch special, and we all like shepherd's pie. It reminds us of grammar school. It reminds us of grammar school. Boy, is that a tongue twister. And so we decided to do it. It's delicious. We make it with ground meat and potatoes and peas. It's great.
Wow.
We're doing chicken cordon bleu sandwiches, another lunch special. This weekend we'll have anitra stuffed bell peppers with baked macaroni and cheese and veggies. We will have barbecue shrimp and grits on the weekend, all weekend this weekend. They're very good. I've always been like, barbecue shrimp and grits, but if you're going to do them, they have to be great, and we do them really well. We do a really good lamb chop, which has been very popular at Katie's the last 6 months. We've been doing this.
Is it like the lollipop type lamb chop, or is it like the little mini T-bone?
Lollipop.
Yep, yummy.
And we marinate them and grill them, serve them with new potatoes and collard greens.
Perfect.
Stuffed shrimp over Alfredo, fettuccine Alfredo.
Wow.
Fried grouper sandwiches. We'll be doing grouper as a special.
Wow.
We're doing today is fried crab claw appetizer. I'm going to saute them tomorrow when I get back to work.
Is it a hot dish or a cold dish?
It's hot.
Nice.
Fried crab claws.
Nice.
So tomorrow I'm going to saute some in a beurre blanc. But tonight I've got to go to the University of New Orleans tennis gala for Burgess Kanga, one of our great coaches. He's having a gala tonight out at Chateau Estates, and Steph and I are going.
Tell him I said hello. I met him at Kebab House on Veterans over there. Vets by Homa Kebab House, that Lebanese joint, Middle Eastern joint. He's a really nice guy.
He's a great guy, and the Kebab House is killer.
No, they do a great job out there. They really do.
And we're also doing a creamy orzo scallop pasta topped with fried calamari.
Unreal.
Where we came up with that, I have no idea, but it sounded good, so why not try it?
You see what I'm talking about, New Orleans, when I mentioned Katie's? It is old school New Orleans, but Scott literally keeps it old school New Orleans. A lot of folks have abandoned all the things he just mentioned because it's too difficult to get that. Their purveyor doesn't have it. They don't want to go to the trouble of making those intricate dishes. Scott embraces all of that stuff. Hey, Scott, have a great time tonight supporting your privateers. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it. Love you, man. See you soon.
That's Scot Craig from Katie's. And don't forget about Francesca Deli in Lakeview. Fantastic. Over there on Harrison Avenue in the old Charlie's Deli location in between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli. And just like Katie's, don't forget, fantastic pizza at both those places. Fantastic pizza. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday. Uh-oh, there's Blue Boy barking. Heading to the top of the hour. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way next. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc.'s going to join us and a whole lot more. 100 days out till Super Bowl 59. Can I get a yeah, you right out of you? Yeah, you right. And 4 days until the presidential election. Thank God. Coming right back. Don't move on a Fantasy Friday.
Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Take like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, number one seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Cha-ching. The weekend is upon us. Gotta love that. Gotta love that, too. It is New Orleans, Louisiana. One of the greatest, if not the greatest city in the entire world. Even with all our dysfunction, New Orleans is a special place. Our history, our architecture, the friendly people, the food, the music, a rich culture that's tough to beat, a compactness of our city, easy to get around, great neighborhoods, real neighborhoods, not some cul-de-sac, 20-year-old generic neighborhood anywhere USA. Neighborhoods with distinction that stand out, that are special, that are like their own little town, like right where I live, my neck of the woods, that Riverbend, Carrollton neighborhood, the old town of Carrollton. It's got everything there. It's absolutely incredible. It's wonderful. New Orleans is special. Such a great place. The ease of getting around. I mean, I guess that's a catch-22. If we were a booming metropolis like Nashville or Austin the last 20, 25 years, just explosive growth. Or Houston, Dallas, Atlanta. They've been booming for 50 years straight. 50 years straight, just unprecedented growth. Atlanta's closing in on 7 million people in the metro. Houston's got north of 7 million in the metro. Harris County alone, just one of the counties that makes up Metro Houston, Harris County has a larger population than the state of Louisiana. Harris County of Houston, Texas, has a larger population than the entire state of Louisiana. That's mind-blowing to me. Dallas has over 8 million people in the metro area, over 8 million. Dallas, in about 5 or 6 years, and there's no reason to think their expected growth is going to stop anytime soon, will pass Chicago and Chicagoland, the metro Chicago area, as the third largest metro in the United States after New York and Los Angeles. Right now, it's New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas. Metro Dallas, larger than Metro San Francisco or D.C. Baltimore. It's pretty amazing. Just a lot of growth. But all those places I mentioned, Nashville included, and Austin included, the larger they get, the more their culture goes away. No, especially the Houston, Atlanta, Dallas is just very cultureless. Very cultureless. There's not a lot of distinction. I could, knock someone out, and I don't mean punching them, like just, hypothetically, injecting them with something and knocking them out safely. Transport them on a plane from Atlanta to Dallas and put them in a neighborhood, and they'd still think they're in Atlanta. Or someone from Houston to Dallas, or Dallas to Houston, or Houston to Atlanta. Just their expansive growth, those outlying generic cul-de-sac neighborhood types, they're just anywhere USA. So no, New Orleans really stands out as a special place. We're blessed. But no, we do have to deal with the crazy politics in not only New Orleans, but Louisiana in general. Texas is the fastest growing state in the country the last 30, 40 years. The South, the fastest growing region. We're literally surrounded by explosive growth, and Louisiana continues to flounder. And it's two reasons: the people that we elect, and sadly, the citizenry that elects these people. I don't mean to go on a negative tangent on a Friday, but at LSU Law School, day one, the professors, at least they used to say, look to your left, look to your right. In a year, one of those people won't be there. Meaning, either they can't hack law school, but it really means they probably aren't, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to do this. I've already graduated. I want to do 3 years of law school, whatever. They move on to something else. In Louisiana, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but look to your left, look to your right. One of those people is probably pretty second rate. They settle. They're not a winner. They losing's easy, being negative and jaded and cynical, and that's easy. Thinking like, boy, if Edwin Edwards was around, the state would be fine. If Mark Morial were mayor, the city would be fine. Like that kind of broken, dysfunctional mentality where people are worried about Democrat or Republican or black or white, just living in yesteryear and not even realizing that type of thinking. You're missing the boat. You're missing the rocket ship. You're going backwards. No, we've got a lot of folks in Louisiana that don't want to win, that don't want to compete. Buddy Roemer said it to me best, the late former governor, that the state should have embraced the Roemer Revolution. This guy was a Democrat. He wins the governorship as sitting governor. He switches from Democrat to Republican way before all these other political jokers did it. Roemer did it because of thinking and what he believed in. You may disagree about Republican or Democrat, but that's what he felt, so you have to respect it. And it wasn't a trend like it is today. And we would be like North Carolina as a state, and New Orleans would be like Charlotte as a city. Booming growth. The Roemer Revolution. But instead, Edwin Edwards from afar, and John Alario, and Sherman Copeland, these hacks, these political jokers worried about themselves, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many, setting up their friends and family taking over, instead of taking care of the citizens of the state. No, we went backwards, and we've been suffering ever since. And Buddy Roemer used to say this, and I thought it was brilliant. I've added to it. We're talking about New Orleans specifically. It's like, Corey, as long as Mardi Gras, as long as Carnival is a go, everything's fine in New Orleans. I was like, boy, that's so true, buddy. And I say in New Orleans and Louisiana, as long as Mardi Gras is a go, Saturday night at Tiger Stadium, 3-for-1 at the bar, hunting and fishing season, as long as that's a go, all is good. Forget about educating your kids. Forget about economic opportunity. Forget about infrastructure. Forget about crime. I mean, it's just crazy second-rate thinking. I love Mardi Gras. I'm glad we're the sportsman's paradise. Go hunters and fishermen. I'm all for that. 3-for-1 at the bar. Go for it. That's part of New Orleans culture. Go Cups and more. Mardi Gras, are you kidding me? It's great. I'm all for all those things, but Those are like luxury items. Those are like the weekend things. The Monday through Friday 9 to 5 stuff that's of vital importance, we suck at that. And I don't see even a light at the end of the tunnel. But despite all of that, Louisiana, our culture in this state, like Cajun country, I mean, it's just special. And New Orleans is special. Like I said, maybe the greatest city in the world. It's incredible. An international city, a European masterpiece. The French Quarter. I mean, just really tough to beat New Orleans. And the people, so friendly. Love when I go somewhere. Thank you, honey. Thank you, sugar. Thank you, babe. Okay, sweetie. I mean, just somewhere else you're filing a lawsuit against the place, you know? They called me sweetie. I'm smiling. You know, I'm blushing. I'm like, fantastic. Love New Orleans. Got a good one coming up, 5 o'clock power hour. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. is going to join us. Hey, speaking of the 5 o'clock power hour on this Fantasy Friday, it's brought to you by Leidenheimer Baking Company. Talking about one of the good things in New Orleans, they've only been at it since the late 1800s. Baking French bread in the city of New Orleans. They're still baking that French bread you grew up with, that you love. As a matter of fact, they're baking that French bread still in the city of New Orleans. They're bagging it and boxing it and now sending it out to 30-plus states around the country. The rest of America enjoying what we've known our entire life. The best French bread anywhere, good to the last crumb, Leidenheimer French bread. 5 o'clock powwow this afternoon on a Fantasy Friday, brought to you by Leidenheimer Baking Company. Fantastic. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joins us next. A lot to talk about, like Taylor Swift and the economic impact, some economic news, and 100 days till Super Bowl 59. The countdown has begun. Do not move.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online, youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. AC.com, your cool spots.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday.
trillion.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scot Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right. 100 days and counting till Super Bowl 59. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joins us. Miguel, how are you?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. It's shocking that we are inside the century mark, but last weekend was meant to be our dry run, and it ended up being much more than a test. I think it kind of set the bar. I mean, if we can replicate the level of joy and enjoyment that we saw around the city for the Super Bowl, we'll be doing good. The Taylor Swift weekend was quite a phenomenon.
Yeah, let's talk about the Super Bowl in a second. But yeah, let's talk about last weekend. First off, Halloween weekend by itself in New Orleans is a destination for a lot of folks. You don't go to other cities for Halloween, but people come from the region, all around the country, even the world. They base a holiday or vacation around Halloween in New Orleans. The weather's usually great temperature-wise, and, Halloween, haunted houses, the French Quarter, all that stuff. But Taylor Swift came in, and I was just blown away, Michael. I knew it was going to be a big economic impact. I knew it just wasn't a regular concert. But it wasn't only folks from the region, from around the country, literally folks from around the world. They obviously love Taylor Swift. They looked at her schedule, and they're like, do we want to go to the Denver show, the Phoenix show? I mean, what are we going to do there? Let's knock out two birds with one stone.
Should we go to the New Orleans show or maybe the Indianapolis show?
Come on. Yeah, the Indianapolis show, I'm sure, will do great. 3 nights. They're going to draw people from the region. New Orleans drew people from around the world, and it was 150,000. Every hotel room filled, restaurants filled, music clubs filled. Just a great, not to sound corny, but a great, wholesome environment in New Orleans. Even Bourbon Street was wholesome for the first time ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a testament to a couple things. One is that I think that the world is just ready for some kind of vanilla, wholesome friendship bracelet kind of stuff. Folks are just a little bit exhausted from the cynicism and the snarkiness and the divisiveness, and so they're ready for Taylor Swift. And then also, I got to take a little credit for this, or I think that New Orleans should take a bow, is that a lot of the work that we've been doing to get ready for the Super Bowl, the infrastructure work, the code sweeps in the French Quarter, all that stuff kind of, was one of the reasons why the French Quarter, was so accessible. It wasn't just because there were like 50,000 karaoke 12-year-old girls there. It was because the shot people are gone. The drug dealers were scared off. There weren't as many wild animals. And so I thought it augured well. The ride share we set up worked pretty well. We got some kinks to work out on part of it, but the ride share at Duncan Plaza worked. And I mean, most incredibly, Corey, the Superdome supported 65,000 people live streaming for 3.5 hours on the internet. So, that's about the most over-engineered stress test you could ever have for the internet during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, the new Wi-Fi in there.
Everybody should feel good.
Yep, the new Wi-Fi in there, plus $500 million of plus in renovations to the Dome. Just all that stuff coming to a head. Poydras Street, you can roll a marble down it. The police presence, the state troop Troop NOLA. I had on earlier in the week, Colonel Hodges from from the state police, the Brother Martin guy, the New Orleans guy who gets this city, it's different. Forget about, I think, Columbus, Ohio has a larger metro than New Orleans, but I don't even consider that really a city, just a huge town. We're fourth in America in greatest reduction in violent crime. And the three places in front of us, it's like Columbus and then a couple of towns, Michael, not even cities. So you could argue as a major metropolitan area, we're number one in America in reduction in violent crime. All of that adds up to an incredible Taylor Swift weekend. It went off without a hitch, coupled with just insanely nice weather.
Oh, the weather, this is the kind of weather that you walk outside and you just kind of giggle. It's that high 70s, relatively dry.
Yep.
It was a magical weekend. In fact, I've got an interview in half an hour with Canadian Broadcasting because they're going to be getting Taylor Swift at the
in Toronto.
In Toronto, and they want to know what it was like. And the woman said to me in the pre-interview, she said, do you ever remember the city feeling, similar to this? And I said, honestly, I have to think back, and probably the closest I've ever felt was in 2010 after we won the Super Bowl, where there was that same unifying sense of joy and celebration, except that one was a lot more alcohol fueled. But no, this felt more ubiquitous than almost anything I've ever seen, including Mardi Gras. So it was pretty fun, pretty miraculous.
I think Taylor Swift is Canadian, right?
Is she?
I think, or has some tie to Canada. I think there's 6 shows in Toronto, like over 2 weekends. 6 shows. Oh my God! Yeah. So and at that nice stadium they've got up there. But Michael, 3 shows, about 170,000 folks in from around the world. Just a Grand Slam home run last weekend. I had Walt Leger on early in the week, like north of $200 million in direct spending, and he's estimating maybe north of $500 million in indirect.
Yeah, I think that's probably, if you add it up. Here's how you add it up. So you had, 3 shows times 65,000 people. That's close to 200,000 tickets.
Yep.
Average ticket price, I don't know, $1,500. Who knows? Then that, according to U.S. Travel Association estimates, each Swiftie is spending about $1,300 on other items. You put that together and you get pretty darn close to $500 million before you add in all the stuff that doesn't capture all of the other events that went on around town, and then just the goodwill that's going to bring visitors here in the future, kind of the present value that you get out of Taylor Swift. So it was probably, in terms of immediate impact, actually bigger than the Super Bowl. What the Taylor Swift show doesn't have is the 200 million eyeballs that watch the Super Bowl from around the world.
Yeah. The marketing, the indirect marketing promotion is priceless for a Super Bowl. But and the CEOs that come in, that's your job to get them to relocate some businesses here and bring employees here. But every hotel packed to the gills with high rates, like their highest rates in history, and packed. And then every restaurant packed. And then you figure Rubenstein's is selling $3,000 Canali suits. Adler's is selling diamond jewelry. It's Canal Place, Saks Fifth Avenue having record days, things of that nature. It all trickles downhill.
Well, it does. And one of the things that we heard from everybody is, I was talking to shop owners, is just how much everybody was tipping, and I think and how much they were buying and tipping, like you said. And I think that part of it is that once you've spent $5,000 on 3 mention airfare, it's kind of like all bets are off. You're on a ski vacation. It's like, yeah, get the $45 bowl of chili.
Yeah.
Who cares? We're missing a mortgage payment. It doesn't matter. It was folks kind of letting loose, and it was good. But again, I think it's important to recognize that it was 3-4 months of Super Bowl preparation that kind of literally set the stage. Now, here's what the thought I had coming out of this. Let me know what you think about this. It wasn't a concert for sure, and it really wasn't a show. It was an event, and it kind of felt like people going to Vegas to go see like an Eagles show at the Sphere, and then spending 3 days in Vegas. And maybe we need more like residencies in New Orleans, like I don't know, like Stevie Wonder, people who are global in nature, so that folks will come for the show but stay for a 3-day weekend. And I don't know if we've done that intentionally in the past.
Oh, no, I can't think of anyone that has a residency here except local musicians, and they're great. I'm not knocking them, but they're not an international draw like Taylor Swift would be. It's not, Fergie or whatever in Vegas for, 6 months. No, I mean, I that would be incredible. That's where you get like the Joy Theater redone, and that becomes some venue for that, or Mahalia Jackson or whatever, or even like at the convention center, that theater at the convention center that no one even knows about.
But you need probably like I was thinking about the Orpheum, but that's probably a little bit too small, right? It's like 2,000 seats. You probably need like a 5,000 seat stadium, right? Or something like a mid-size.
Walt Leger was talking about that exactly. He said, to compete with these other cities, we need the hotel at the convention center. And he specifically mentioned about a 5,000 seat venue for concerts that we presently don't have. We don't have that.
Yeah. Interestingly.
No, that's good stuff. That is a brilliant idea. Residency for like a Stevie Wonder 6 months in New Orleans. Yeah. Adele, come on. Are you kidding me? That's a great idea, Michael.
Yeah.
Got to make that happen. Hey, can you stick around for about 5 more minutes and we'll talk about the 100 days till Super Bowl 59 and what that means?
That's perfect. And I can tease a couple of economic development announcements too. I'll wait for the break.
That's perfect. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, if you're looking for a great place to check out your favorite sports teams, it's hard to find a better spot than the new Tracy's on Magazine. Bigger and better than ever before. Too many flat screens to count, and an actual real kitchen with food you want to eat, like one of the best roast beef po' boys in the city. It's Katie's Magazine at Pleasant between Washington and Louisiana, essentially catty corner from that Bro Mart on Magazine. Go check it out with fans and your favorite sports teams. Katie's on Magazine.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeVar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Fantasy Friday, Corey Johnson with you. So is Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. for a few more minutes. Hey, Michael, a lot of improvements. I mentioned Poydras. You can roll a marble down it. The $550 million in dome improvements are done. There's lots of things that are done. But there are a lot of things that aren't done yet. I noticed when I went down to on Friday, I went to the quarter, had a steak at Doris Metropolitan with some friends in the courtyard, and all the Swifties were out and the quarter was packed. But there were still potholes in the street, still some potholes on the sidewalks in the quarter. So I guess right now it's 100 days till the Super Bowl. Engage clutch, downshift, and hit the accelerator and get a lot more stuff done, right?
Yeah, the most of the French Quarter contracts are starting now. Those sidewalks have started. The roads start in a couple of weeks. The lighting contract maybe starts next week. So you're going to see a lot of activity in the French Quarter over the next 2 months. It's not it, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it done. And between that and the code sweeps and the new garbage contract, and we're getting signs put up in the French Quarter. We're putting lights up in the alleys. We're going to deal with the homeless situation. I think the French Quarter should be feeling as tightened up as we've seen it in years by the end of the year. So it's going to be a kind of a big rush to the finish, but I think we're going to be pretty pleased when they say time and we have to hold our hands up.
Those temporary wrappings of buildings with advertisements and large, art type stuff, that can be done a few weeks out. What about the more permanent murals that are going to be painted on buildings? I guess that's got to start pretty soon, right?
Yeah, that's starting pretty soon. You're going to see a huge mural going up on the Heel Garage over Duncan Plaza. You're going to see a big mural going up on Canal Street. We're going to do a projection probably on the mural on the side of the Mayfair above the Hard Rock site. We're trying to figure out what to do with the ferry terminal wall. We haven't figured that one out quite yet. You're going to see a big piece on the entrance on the Macy's on the Gerard as you enter into the Dome. Yeah, all that will kind of start up in earnest over the next month. Basically, they don't take that long to do, but we kind of got to get going, and you could have weather delays.
Got the lights on the Crescent City connection going.
Yeah, no, the next place I want to put lights on is on the high rise. I'd love to have lights on the high rise that kind of speak to the lights on the Crescent City connection, if that makes sense.
No, that would be great because the high rise you see from all around the city. And if that thing was lit up like a bad boy, it would just be something that everybody would see from afar. That's Michael, you're nailing ideas with the residency for concerts here and lighting up the high rise. I love that idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So we're doing good there, and we have a couple of tech announcements that we should be making in the next couple of weeks, which we're really excited about. One is a testing company. The other one is a more of like one's a video game testing. The other one's really is a tech headquarters actually, which is kind of a big deal. So it's nice that we're getting back into the economic development, singles, doubles, triple, home run game. I know the governor is just getting back from Korea. I'd love for us to get a really tight relationship with Korea because they got everything from tech to heavy industry there.
Yep.
So I feel like the economic development engine was in idling for a little while. It's starting to downshift again as well also.
All right. You're leading me into a cynical corner now, Michael. I hate to do it on a Friday.
How'd that happen? What did I say?
Well, nothing you said, it just got my brain going. It's scary. I love these, battery electric vehicle, the battery companies all around the state, but it's not the batteries that are being built. It's the crappy cancer-causing chemicals that, are used for the batteries. It's typical Louisiana. We have our natural resources or an environment like the Mississippi River, and we build the nasty stuff and then we box it up and ship it to somewhere where they do the manufacturing. That's been a lifelong problem in Louisiana. Yeah. I've mentioned this to you before about like the I-12 corridor. Alabama 35 years ago didn't have an automotive job. Now they've got about 15% of all North American automotive jobs, tens of thousands of people employed. I think in Louisiana, we're like, well, we can't do that because other places do it. Other places have the momentum. The parts places or facilities are built around the car plants. They'll go somewhere else. The electric vehicle thing is a new thing. Why can't I-12 corridor on the North Shore, like electric vehicle manufacturing, and that's great, all the chemical things we do to make the batteries, but how about a battery plant? I think in Kansas, Panasonic, if I'm not mistaken, has a 4,000 employee battery plant they're building, where they're going to make the batteries, where the crap we make, the chemicals, are going to be, the graphite, whatever, right, is going to be shipped. Yeah, it's going to be shipped up to Kansas, and they're going to build the batteries there and employ 4,000, not 400. How do we do the clean stuff and not just the kind of by default with the Mississippi River Industrial Corridor, Cancer Alley? How do we get that stuff? How do we become like the electric vehicle corridor in I-12 or something like that? Why is that such an impossible hurdle?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Well, I think that the impossible hurdle is us getting into electric vehicle manufacturing because, unfortunately, when we had Governor Foster didn't like to travel, to fly.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
We missed out on, meeting with Mr. Toyota and going to Germany. And then unfortunately the EVs are following where the combustion engine manufacturers, where it kind of makes sense. But in terms of actually making the batteries, That's a great point, and I have to look into that because you're right. A lot of what we're doing now is raw materials, and it really is no different than what we've done in the past, where we do the low margin raw materials, and the value add happens, and the margin gets taken in other places. So, not to encourage your cynicism, but as they say, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you.
No, I mean we bring all this. We're the number one rubber port in America, and we ship the rubber from South America to tire manufacturing facilities in other states. It's like, why isn't it here? And I mean, thank God we have Folgers and we roast the most coffee in the world, but biggest roasting plant because all the beans come through our port. We need more of that. It used to cut down the trees in Louisiana, send the wood to North Carolina to build the furniture. It just never made sense to me why it couldn't all be done in one spot. Plus, it seemed like it would be more cost effective for the businesses that do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem with the tires is because the auto manufacturers are not here, it's more cost effective to ship out the rubber and make them next door to the plant. I mean, you see how this stuff echoes, for generations. So that's why we have to some degree, start new industries here, or think about how we take our raw materials and at least add one level of value add, like making the batteries before they get shipped out. So no, you're right on that one, Corey. I'm sorry to say you are.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be jaded or cynical. All right, Michael.
It happens naturally.
Well, yeah, sadly. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. Before we let you run, Taylor Swift indirect spending, they're talking about $500 million plus. These Super Bowl numbers I'm hearing, Michael, are crazy. 7, 8, 900 million in indirect spending.
I can believe it. I mean, it's a once in a decade type of event, and so we're trying to leverage the hell out of it.
Now, the great thing is each and every Super Bowl the next year becomes the biggest one. So Super Bowl 59 will be the biggest in the history of the Super Bowls. So keep grinding, Michael. Keep cleaning up our city. Keep building new infrastructure. Keep repairing and fixing all the broken stuff. We love it.
One pothole at a time, KJ.
You're the man. That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. Boy, lighten up the high rise. What a brilliant idea. Residency of some stars in our town. Michael's on fire today. Hey, by the way, that segment always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. A culture of innovation at Latrim. It's not just a job. For many at Latrim, they've been there for decades. For decades. It is a career for a lot of folks. They employ over 1,400 in Elmwood. They've got a few hundred on their North Shore facility on I-12. So you North Shore folks don't have to beeline across the causeway every day to work at Latrim. You can do it on the North Shore. For a full listing of positions available, not only in Elmwood, but also on the I-12 corridor, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. I had Scot Craig on last hour from Katie's. I was just doing a Tracy's commercial. I said, Katie's on Magazine, going into that last break. Obviously, Katie's is in Mid-City. It's Tracy's on Magazine, the legendary sports bar with the great roast beef po' boy. Magazine at Pleasant, Tracy's on Magazine. A little slip up. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, 2 countdowns that are important. One, a huge positive. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. Yeah, you right. Can't wait for that. And just 4 days. Thank God. 4 days. Thank you, Jesus. Until the presidential election 2024. Boy, has this thing been divisive, ugly, caustic. Just glad to get this thing in the rearview mirror. Hopefully, we have a winner on Tuesday. They'll be arguing about it for days after, guaranteed. And then for months after, the losing side will say it was fixed or whatever. Thank God for the presidential election on Tuesday. Hey, if you're watching the program on YouTube, on TV, that is a jar of Blue Plate mayonnaise on our studio set. That's as New Orleans as it gets. A New Orleans family tradition since 1927. If you're a New Orleanian, it's got to be Blue Plate mayonnaise. New Orleans mayonnaise. Spread the love. Blue Plate mayonnaise.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scot Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitive prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Finally, after 27 days, we got a little rain. Finally, I got to test out my brand new Audubon gutters on my house. Yeah, Audubon gutters about 3.5 weeks ago installed gutters on my home with the leaf guard system. I planted an oak tree that was like 5 feet tall when I planted it in my front yard about 5 years ago. That monster is just growing fast as can be. It's about 6 feet over the gutter line of my house now, just growing fast as you could imagine. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm going to get another oak tree for my backyard. We need more oak trees. We need more trees we should be the greenest city in America. And our tree canopy has been decimated the last 20, 25 years by like 1/3. We have like an 18% tree canopy. Atlanta has 48%. Atlanta, with all their growth, 48% tree canopy. We have 18%. We're in the subtropic zone. We should be the lushest, greenest city in America. Anyway, I got the Leaf Guard system installed on my Audubon gutters, so I'll never, ever have to clean my gutters ever again. And finally, some rain. My Audubon gutters were tested today, working like a champ, pulling that water off the roof. And instead of like flooding out the front and backyard of my house and driveway, all just wet from the rain, not an inch or two of water on it anymore, because the Audubon gutters are working like a champ. The downspouts putting the water where I want it to be. They can do the same for your house. It's all they do. They don't do aluminum siding. They don't do paint. They don't do roofs. They don't do repairs. They do gutters. As a matter of fact, Audubon Gutters, the Gulf South's largest, most experienced gutter installation company. I've got Audubon Gutters. Why would you consider going anywhere else but Audubon Gutters for your home or business? AudubonGutters.com. Since 1991, taking care of Metro New Orleans. That means you. East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. AudubonGutters.com. Yeah, finally some rain. Drought-like conditions. 27, 28 days, nearly a month of no rain? I mentioned I got 10 azalea bushes down the side of my house. 5 of them are done. I should have ran the sprinkler. I was thinking, I got to run the sprinkler. It hadn't rained in like 2.5, 3 weeks. Better run the sprinkler. And I just didn't. I got lazy. And then I looked down the side of my house one day. I was like, geez and Pete's. Those 5 azaleas kind of over in the pseudo-shaded area are doing fine. The ones in the direct sun are done. And I put the sprinkler on and watered the front and back yard. But I'm hoping those 5 azaleas come back. If not, I'm going to have to go drop $100 or more and get 5 new azaleas, yank the dead ones out the ground, and put the new ones in the ground. Michael Hecht just joined us from Greater New Orleans, saying 2 great ideas. The residency idea like Vegas does. Adele is wrapping up like a 6-month residency in Vegas. The shows are sold out every night. She said, yeah, when I finish this up, you won't see me for a while. And the only reason I know that, they had something on social media, like Celine Dion was there and Adele called her out and hugged her, and they're both crying. The crowd stood up, standing ovation for Celine Dion, all this stuff. And Adele, later in the article, was like, my residency's winding down in Vegas. You won't see me for a while. Michael Hecht talked about like a residency, like Stevie Wonder is who he brought up as an example. That's the kind of act that draws fans every night, sold out every night for 6 months. Hotel rooms, restaurants, folks staying in town for at least an extended weekend. Walt Leger joined us from New Orleans Company earlier in the week talking about the Convention Center Hotel, and talking about keeping up with the Joneses, all the other folks. I forgot what the number was, billions of dollars being spent in convention center redos and expansion and hotels and all that stuff. And he mentioned how New Orleans needs a 5,000-seat venue, 5,000 seat. I mean, if you think about it, the Sanger's like 1,200, the arenas, 15,000, the Dome, 60,000 plus, UNO Lakefront Arena's like 10,000. Mahalia Jackson Theater, I think, is like 3,000. We don't have a 5,000 seat venue. Maybe the Municipal Auditorium, Maybe the Municipal Auditorium would be the perfect redo as a 5,000 seat venue for concerts, and somebody that would be, having a residency, make it that, where it's not, concerts all the time being booked there, or maybe you'd book them in between whoever's having a residency at that venue, like Stevie Wonder for 6 months. That's a brilliant idea. And Michael was on fire, lighting up the high rise. We mentioned the $20 million investment for the Crescent City connection. Those lights are expected to last 20 years. Not talking about the electricity bill, but that's $100 a day. $100 a day to light up the Crescent City connection. with those lights over 20 years. Best $20 million we ever spent. The bridges look fantastic lit up at night. Michael Hecht talked about lighting up the high rise. It doesn't have the, the infrastructure, the structural build like the Crescent City Connection. If the Crescent City Connection lighting up that bridge was $20 million, you could do the high rise in the east for $5 million probably. Like a quarter of it, I'm guessing. That would just be fantastic. Plus, you're tossing a bone to New Orleans East, much needed. And it would just look great. And from afar, you would see it. Just the high rise out in the east lit up over the the industrial, it was Industrial Canal. Now we're calling it the Industrial Waterway. Like we changed Airline Highway to Airline Drive to make it sound a little better. That would be fantastic. Spending a few $1,000,000 and lighting up the high rise like the Superdome, like the Crescent City Connection. Fantasy Friday edition of the weekend. Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness. 100 days till Super Bowl 59. Michael says the French Quarter, it's going to be just like ants on a sugar cube. A lot of work being done there. What's that, Blue Boy? Fired up about the 100-day countdown to the Super Bowl and the game itself. No doubt, huge economic impact, buddy. You're right. What else? 4 days until the presidential election this Tuesday. Yeah, thank goodness that thing will be in the rearview mirror soon. It's been very ugly. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. See you Monday right here, straight up 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.